Hello and welcome to another art stream. One second. I'm gonna do some work. Oops, come on. Nope, 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 nope. I'm gonna be doing some work on the artwork from earlier this year tonight because I want to clean it up and actually I might even I'm hoping maybe by the end of this year I might even set up an account with Imprint and start putting some of my favorite work from the last 2 years up there to be on sale. And I'll be doing that over this week and reviewing it on this weekend. And that way, when the I have several days off on the Christmas week, all except for Friday of that week, but that's fine. And I'll be so I'll just be working on getting all that together, and I'll let you know by then if I'm successful, and I hope I am, but I should be. So at the very least, I'll have a couple up there. Because between these last 2 years, I think I really made some good stuff, and I really want to make it available for purchase. Especially things like the Undersea Medusa one. I'm really proud of that one. Some of the witch ones came out even better than I expected. Like that more recent one, I think would make a great print if I just cleaned it up a little bit more. So, yeah. So let's work on... So, I just wanted to quickly go over what I was working on last time, which is making some progress on the comic. I'm starting to put script in, like a rough version of it. And this page is coming along pretty good. I'm really happy with this fun kind of like energy in the first panel. It needs a little bit of cleanup, but I think like the way he looks, I think, is really great, and I just need to like make the explosions look more energetic and more just impact to them. But I'm really happy with how much they stand out by using the teals and the cyans. I think really pushed that it really pushed it out of the page, I think. All right, well, let's get to work. So one thing I did is this one I'm going to do some work on because I'll get these closed. Probably don't recognize it because I changed the pose so much, but originally, whoops, well, I did the zoom instead of a... Originally, it was just a rough thing I started a little while ago for Swordtember. Wait, why is that one? Oh, because I didn't turn off all the top layers. I did the Swordtember earlier this year, and I didn't get very far, but I had fun with the ones I did. So I'm probably going to do some more this week with this, and with Dino-Vember, and with Witchtober. I'm going to do a few more of those because those all came out great, and there's a couple more that I wanted to do but just didn't have time, and I would have done them last month, but I devoted more of November to working on the comic, and I think, well, I'm glad I did because I really took a step forward with it. I think like it's really much further. I mean, I know I'm not further in the comic itself, but I'm further in like concepting it out. Like so many of the pages are cleaner now. I'm kind of like more excited about it than I was before because it was kind of like it was a lot, and now it seems like a smaller thing that I can just like take care of in time. So yeah. This is the legend of this Khalid Bolg, this sword that cut a mountain in half. So I have this like this not Shield Maiden. I was about to say Shield Maiden, but that wouldn't have been Ireland. This warrior that where she's just like sliced a part of a hill into pieces with it. See if I can open up something else too. There's a couple other ones I wanted to. I forgot all about this. This one, I think is a really good one, and I really want to clean this one up a little bit more to make it a print. Like the clouds in the background were really rough put in, but like I think this one, all I have to do is put in some line, clean up the line work, and it will be ready. So this is one we can work on today. Hello, thanks for dropping in. Yeah, remember this one? This one takes me. It was earlier this year. Came out really good. I'm just gonna open a few just so that I. Some things I might just redraw completely. Like they were a good idea, but they just well, like certain ones ironically were like this one was good. It just needs to be cleaned up a little bit more. I don't know if it would. This would be might be a fun print too because it's just got a lot of energy to it. The clouds just need to be cleaned up, and some of the line work in her like hair and stuff needs to be fixed. But I like the speed in it, so that one. And then there's things like this one too. Was one where I think I just got like 90%. I got like 70% there, and then kind of got like overwhelmed by everything else I had to do and kind of just zipped away from it, where I could have just stuck with it and made this one better. But so I think that's what I'm going to do this week is focus on just making all of these stronger. And certain things like yeah, I did June 2 and I barely touched that. And that would have been a fun one to do too. I don't think I'll be able to make prints out of that. I mean, you can technically, but what? Was it this year? It's hard to believe, but this one was this year. If I can just clean this one up, this is probably one of my favorite ones from this year. Yeah, I mean, I got so many. Like I was saying earlier, I really just want to like open up my print shop, like an on-demand one through like Imprint, and there's a couple other sites like that where you can just like put up your artwork and they'll help you. They take a small percentage. I think Imprint's not that bad. I think they take like 15, but I'll double check. It might be a little more than that. 15%, I mean. So, I'm not sure how much the other ones do on it. I don't know about I know some people use Redbubble, but I have some beef with them. Maybe they're better than they used to be, but I knew them back when they were newer, and they were kind of taking advantage of young artists, I felt. Like, especially graphic designers, it felt like they were kind of, they had a lot of jobs on that site that were just, like, very low pay and it's one thing when you're drawing just, like, a character for one person, but when you're drawing something that a company wants and they're using the same rates, that seems really sus. Oh my gosh, remember this? This is, I think this was the beginning of the year. I want to kind of finish this one just for me, actually. Oh, have they been better lately? Because like I said, I haven't been on there in a while, so maybe they're better than they used to be. Like this was, I'd like to just clean this one up a bunch because there's parts of it I it's funny. Other than like, I think there's parts of this I really like, and parts of this I think that are really rough. Like some of their faces are like Zidane's face needs to be cleaned up a lot, but I really like. I think it's because I was drawing the comic at the time. But I think Dagger's face is the best part of this. Like her expression of like, "Oh, we're in trouble, aren't we?" And I want to clean up. Vivi needs to be cleaned up a little bit. I might actually make him. I don't know. I'll figure something out. Maybe he's going to be doing the something different. Like maybe he'll be doing his like stir the pot kind of motion with his staff, or maybe he'll just be jumping in the air like casting like he does when he's about to cast a spell. That might be better. Because right now it kind of is unclear. I mean, it could work the way it is, but I kind of want to make him look a little less static. But he's, that was pretty cool. Yeah, there were some funny, some of the June, some of the things from June, like this one, I'm definitely gonna make into a. I'm gonna clean this one up a lot, and because I really like this monster. So, because I got a lot of comments on this one, and if I can just clean it up and make it look more like rendered, I think it could be really a popular piece. Maybe even like alter the perspective a little bit. But I don't know. I don't know if that's the issue. I think it's more just like cleaning it up and rendering it a little bit more might just push it a little bit further. So, yeah. Oops. Wait, are these? When was this made? Kind of funny because some of these things I keep forgetting like when they were made. Certain things are. Oh yeah, I did that one too. I forgot. My dragonborn on top of a building. I'm Batman. Oh wow, that's funny that I've done this twice now. I forgot I did this one because I wouldn't have gone through all the trouble of like redoing that other one. Well, it's okay. Now I have two versions of this that look better than the original because this is the original. Oops. No. What am I doing? Go back. No, what did I do? Yeah. This is the original, which is okay, but it could be better. So I whoops. Oh no. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to clean up. I think I originally made this one because I wanted to clean it up, and I forgot I did this because it's hidden in a folder hidden in a folder. So, like I said, I got some cleaning up to do. But Kaijun was really fun, and I made a couple really good ones. Like this one's really good too. It just needs to be cleaned. This one just needs to be cleaned up as well. But It's another really cool thank you. Well, and it's interesting that even it gives. I mean, it's good to see improvement, but at the same time, I'm glad that like even when my style, I mean, as I've been drawing more and more over the year, I've been forcing myself to be cleaner with certain things, but like it's nice to see that I wasn't afraid to experiment with certain things back then either. Like I was okay with certain things being messy if it meant that like I could get across like a certain theme. Because cleaning up after you've like gone, it's always easy to like sharpen things. It's harder to just totally make something up brand new, which is what I've been doing with some of these. But because some of them, like, it's a cool idea, but the pose just didn't work, and that's a little harder to redo. Because like some of these. This is something I redid as a gift for my father. It came out. I'm so happy. This was one of my favorite ones from last year. Like some of the line work still could be cleaned up a little bit more, but honestly, I'm not too worried. I'm really happy with this one overall. Like it's all my influences. Let's see what else we got here. What's this? Oh, that was my I forgot about these. This was before this was much earlier in the year, but I was doing just like dinosaur drawings. So I did like these quick drawings of like different creatures. I think this was when I got Dave Kellett's book on dinosaurs, and I was just trying to it inspired me to just like do this dinosaur challenge where I would I would go to this website where it gave you dinosaur prompts, and then I would just avoid looking at the picture. I would try and redraw like what I thought the animal looked like. So it was interesting. And it's crazy to think this one came out this year. Sorry, I keep saying I keep forgetting it takes a second for these to load. My hardcore punk pixie. This one came out really good. Really, like, this one barely needs touch, like maybe very light touch up, but I really like this one a lot. So much energy in this. Okay, so, but let's go back and because this is one thing I was going to work on sometime soon. Maybe probably not tonight, but I will work on this week. So yeah, screen for my for this channel and for my other one. Working on, and I mentioned like certain effects that are going to show up are going to be things like this is going to, like, I had some cool ideas of like what if I had like on a separate VTuber on that this one could turn into, even like a dragon version of him that is just a flat out like full dragon or dragon fae kind of creature. Like it's got like roots coming out of it and like a skull, and it's surrounded by wisps. And I was going to have it so that like this bubbling energy around him and lightning just like envelops him and then changes him into it as a thought. Like it's just like maybe at the end of every stream or something that happens, and it's the way I like end it. But like, yeah, let's just do some work on this one first. So, oops, did I forgot I never turned the music back on. I'm sorry. What is... I'm curious. Oh, what is Call of Duty inspired? Kind of scared, but curious. I want some different music, so we'll hear if this is good. It doesn't sound bad, so. How's the volume on your side, by the way? Let me know if it's too loud or... It's fine. This is... I can turn it up a little bit if the sound's too quiet. Is that a little louder? As long as you can hear it a little bit, I guess that's all I care about. I just don't want it to be like. Sometimes it always varies from video to video. It feels like sometimes I listen back to them and I can hear it lightly in the background, which is fine. I don't mind that. It's just that I don't want you to just have nothing to listen to while. Although I always just say, like, if you can't, I will never hold it against anyone if they want to put something else in the back, other music in the background while watching me. It's totally cool with me. Like, I wish I could, like, do it like a draw session where I just have like all my AMV mixes like playing on loop in the background, because that would be fun. I've seen some people do that, but I'm not sure what how you know which ones are okay. So I'd have to look into that. Because it'd be nice to just be able to just put some of that on in the background and just jam out to it while I draw and not have to worry about getting a claim strike. But that's not how this neither. Well, that's not how this platform works. I might be able to do that on my Twitch streams though. So maybe I'll try it there. I think they don't care as much. Because I know I've seen so many people using just like Spotify, so. It was fun. Yesterday I was listening to somebody do a bunch of anime openings. And it was fun going back through a lot of those and remembering all of them. Like some of the old school ones like Outlaw Star and what were some of the other ones? Lupin's not one of my favorites, but it does have a pretty good opening. I only watched it on I need to get back. Maybe I'll get back into trying to watch that because like I'm so far behind on that. Like I watched a little bit of it on Crunchyroll, and it's fun. Like I went back to like it's kind of like very much like it's what's very much cat and mouse, kind of like old school like crime caper kind of feel to them. And if you're into that kind of like energy, then it's really good. Because so many of them were like they're going to steal something, but someone worse appears, and then they have to like stop the other person from doing something worse than what they were gonna do. So they end up not being able to go after what they wanted to steal because they got distracted by the worst villains. And then G-Gun gets embarrassed and repeat ad nauseum. Oh no, not G-Gun. Inspector. Oh shoot, what's his name? Because G-Gun is the guy with the gun. Is the criminal with the gun. I forget. He's the guy with the top with the fedora and like the loose clothing. Yeah, which is fun because they actually made a character in Samurai Jack that looked just like him as a like homage to that series. Because I think Gendy's a fan. Yeah, there was like one where Jack and the G-Gun look-alike were like racing to the middle of a temple because there was like something hidden in it, and Jack believed it was. I think Jack thought it was a either something that could hurt Aku or it was a portal. I can't remember which, but I think it turned out to be neither. I forget what it turned out to be. I'll have to rewatch that one. So that was like season 4, I think. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was season 4. I forgot how much fun the Slayers openings were. Actually, I know earlier this month I was taking I was saying that I forget what I even said about Slayers. Honestly, it was one of my earlier shonen though. So or not? Is it shonen? Anyway, it was one of my earlier anime that was like because back then it was in the 90s it was so much harder to oh god, I just aged myself. Oh my gosh. I'm turning into a skeleton as we speak. Back in my day. But you had to go to like if it wasn't in like the video store, you didn't have a chance to. That was it. Like there wasn't like there was no like pirating. There was no internet database to pirate. There was no stores to go to where you could just like buy them if you weren't in if you didn't live somewhere that had access to the original Japanese releases. Then you just never saw those shows. I mean, that still is the case with some things these days, but it's a much smaller list than it used to be. Like, I remember, like, watching Cardcaptors, seeing some of Cardcaptor Sakura on, Fox back in the day, and then I talked to my friends in the anime club at my college, and their memory of that show was very different because they saw the real one. And I was like, wait, it's a lot different? And they're like, oh yeah, it's a different animal completely when you watch the actual anime. Because the American version, like, focused so much more on the card part of it, whereas the actual story goes into much more of the character development and all that stuff, which I would have probably liked better back then anyway, because by then that was like, I don't think when that came out, that was probably like, yeah, that would have been like late high school for me. Like, I think it came out in like, on Fox at least, in like 98, right? I forget. I think it was 98, but I could be wrong. And I also saw the opening for like Escaflowne, which that was a fun one. I always liked how over the top the villain was in that one. Like, it was very clearly a teen romance story with mechs, but I just really liked that young prince character who was like proto Joffrey, where he's just like this like Looney Tune level crazy kid who is just like always trying to cause trouble for the girl. The funny thing is, I forgot so much about that show, though. Like, I know the basic premise of it, where it was like teen romance with, like I said, teen romance with fantasy, like Gundam, not Gundam, but like mecha that are medieval based. And then there's other ones like what was that called? I can look it up again. Nadia and what was it called? Nadia and the Blue. I forget. There's like this one about a young girl. It's like this like 2,000 Leagues Under the Sea, but anime. Yeah, Nadia, The Secret of the Blue Water. It was kind of it was almost like, in some ways it felt very much like a I mean, it was kind of like I said, it was 2,000 Leagues Under the Sea, but it was also kind of like what would happen if you did like a bunch of different anime styles, one being almost like a Ghibli kind of style, but it what if you did like that, but with like Atlantis, the Lost Empire, but you made it more like adventure and like a series instead of just a movie. Like that's it's a shame that show. I mean that movie came out at a time when they weren't doing that as much, because like I know they did that with Big Hero 6. They made that into a cartoon, and it would have been really fun to see a medium, even like a medium budget version of like Atlantis: The Lost Empire, with like, if they could get some of those voice actors. I'm not sure if like I mean, obviously some of them are pretty big actors, so they probably couldn't afford, unless they volunteered. They probably, which maybe they would. I mean, I don't know how they felt about that project. Some of them might. I mean, I think oh my god. Oh, never mind. I was about to give away a major plot point in that movie, but a certain actor who probably would have come back, kind of couldn't because of what happens in that movie. So I won't say who or what, but but like the main character, that the actor who does him, I think he wasn't really doing anything big at the time, so he probably could have come back and done a TV show version of it. And being a voice actor is so much easier, is a lot less stressful than being an actor, so you probably would have preferred it, especially with like all the health issues he had at the time. So he probably would have liked a little bit of like peace and quiet kind of while he was dealing with all that. And maybe he could have just put more money towards his raising money towards his foundation. But I always thought that one was kind of like even a bigger like underrated movie than, like, some people say that like Treasure Planet was underrated, but I think that Atlantis was way more underrated than Treasure Planet. Like, there was so many great characters in it, and it was like Disney's, I think we talked about this, but like it was kind of Disney's first heel turn character, but not done in a way where it was like, oh my gosh, he's the villain. It's more like well, you knew he was kind of sus, but you didn't know what his true intent was. Like, he could have been just like, I mean, he could have just kind of went in a different direction completely. So like that whole like end of the movie, like, oh, I'm actually like a lot darker than you thought because no one told Milo what he had done, like before they met, like how many people they, like how many cultures they probably trampled over to get the information to find Atlantis or to get close to finding Atlantis. And it's funny because, like, other than him being a little impatient, he wasn't really written as a bad guy early on. He was really in charge. He was the guy in charge. So you knew he wasn't afraid to use his authority, and he came down that you knew that they had weapons, but you knew that they were also going to deal with a lot of dangerous things on the way. So you're like, well, it's a good thing this general's here who has like experience with this stuff, because Milo's just a guy who dealt with a radiator. So fighting a giant steampunk leviathan is not in his experience. And I guess originally Helga Sinclair was going to be Russian, but they changed her character a little because there was going to be like this thing where like she is actually like a Russian spy, and there was like there was a secret romance between her and and the other guy, and like, which is why in the end when what happens, it's more crazy. I don't think that movie really dealt with like diversity in a good way, where like everyone, they had all these interesting characters with amazing stories, and you never felt like you were tripping over the story to introduce a character of a different race. Like that's how it should really be done. I wish they would do it more like that, because which is proof that Disney used to have writers that could do that, and I think they're getting better again. I hope. I didn't see that Moana 2, but I'm curious to hear if it's good, because sequels to Disney movies can sometimes be meh. But I'll have to look up a review of it to see if it's good. Like when when the first one came out, I couldn't stop listening to that music, and it wasn't even just like the Maui music either. Like I loved her songs too. She had some really great, like her I Want Adventure song. I forget what it was called, but it was really good. It was so catchy, and I listened to it for like a month after that movie came out at least. Because the girl they have she, I mean, it's the same actor, the voice actor that, or the same singer came back for this one. So I'm curious to hear if they gave her any good new music, because she has a nice voice. Have you heard any of them online? Or are they... It was just alright. That's too bad. All right in which way? All right, like kind of like what people were saying about oh, what was that all right like wicked, or all right like good? Because wicked kind of, some people were saying it's okay. So I know we've talked about musicals, and I think that they're really fun, but I think it's really hard to turn a musical into a from. It's hard to make a musical into a full story unless it already is a full story. And by that I mean like the producers. I've heard people say they've watched the they've only watched the musical, and I'm like, no. Like, no. Go back and watch the original with Gene Wilder, because that's a story. It's like, you can watch the musical after, but you need to see what it actually came from before you would do that. Yeah, it is a shame too, because like sometimes they are good. Like we were talking about, there are good ones, but it's like sadly a lot of times they try and go over the top with the story and the effects, and they don't put enough time into like making the characters fun. Although sometimes they do okay. I heard that I never saw it, but I heard that Mary Poppins remake, that one that came out more recently, was pretty good. So and considering Mary Poppins was one of those ones that was like early integration of live action with cartoons, I mean, that's really all they had to do again. And I heard that they did pretty good with keeping true to the spirit of how they did it the first time and not going overboard. Because I saw some screenshots and they look pretty good. Hello! Just talking about movies and music and all that fun stuff. Mainly we were talking about that just all the new Disney, some of the like what Disney's been up to in the last few years, and old shows that were really good that I wish could have been bigger. Like we were saying, Atlantis was really good. So I think one of the movies from the '90s that surprised me, that like the marketing can surprise me about the movie the most, was Titan AE. When I saw the original teaser for that, I thought it was live action, because all I saw was CG, and I thought maybe they were just only showing the CG parts, because all you saw, I think, in the teaser were the aliens. You didn't see any footage of like Don Bluth's artwork. So I was like, when I saw the first picture, like humans, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. More Don Bluth work. That's good. It's like I didn't expect this, but it's cool. Have you ever had a movie like that where like you the marketing tricked you into thinking it was a different type of movie completely? I think the funniest was one time I went to a movie. I didn't choose it. I went with my family, or some of my family, when I was down in Florida, and I thought we were going to like this like dramatic like semi autobiographical movie, but it turned out to just be a romance. So I kept waiting for the other shoe to fall, and it never happened. So I'm just sitting there like, and now the guy's gonna get. Now she's gonna catch the guy committing tax fraud because she's doing the numbers for him, and she finds out that he's been cooking the books. And I kept waiting for that moment to happen, and it kept just going to her with getting more and more enamored with this American, and I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, this. I guess this is fine. It's kind of like when you read a book for a movie before you go see the movie, but on an even crazier level, because I thought it was gonna be a totally different movie. It's one thing to go into like Jurassic Park and be like, oh wow, I can't wait for this scene to happen from the book, and then you're like, oh, it never happened. And then you're like, oh yeah, because they probably didn't have the money at this time to do that. Because I mean, especially with those movies, Michael Crichton is a huge fan of Spielberg, and he essentially made the second book to be a movie. But then, when they made the second book a movie, they didn't have the budget to do everything from the book in it, and they changed some of the characters for reasons, I guess. Which, I mean, I know I tease and say that one character shouldn't be in it, but she was the actress was okay. She was for like a teen actor. She was, was she teen? I think she was younger than that actually. But she did okay. It's that they gave her kind of like nothing to do in that movie, which is the only thing I think I didn't like, is because in the first movie, the two kids got to do a lot, and the one thing she got to do was kick a raptor, I guess, which I think is the dumbest thing to do. I mean, it worked out for her, but newsflash, don't kick wild animals for many reasons. Number one being, they don't care that you know kung fu or gymnastics. They're just gonna bite you. Like, it doesn't matter how many black belts you have. A panther will just take you down. And I mean, the funny thing is, if she had actually been dealing with actual velociraptors, that scene would have made much more sense. Because actual velociraptors are the size of are a little smaller than a turkey. They're like, I'd say they're about the size of a rooster. So, punting a rooster, I mean, don't do it, but is much more believable than than punting a Utah raptor, which is huge. They're like 5 feet tall. That's a lot of weight for some. She doesn't even weigh as much as the raptor did. But I'm nitpicking. Yeah, I mean, it was. I think it was the. 2 wasn't a bad movie. I think it was one of the better ones. I think they slowly got kind of less and less like memorable. I'll be right back. But going back to what we were saying way before, like, what's your favorite? What's one of your favorite anime openings? Because like, I think one thing I noticed is that certain anime are have just timeless openings. Like, I mean, Cowboy Bebop with Tank. That album is fire, and Neon Genesis Evangelion has an amazing soundtrack. Ghost in the Shell has an amazing soundtrack. It just kind of was a shame that Adult Swim put that show on at 1:30 in the morning, so I was asleep whenever it started. It's like, here's this awesome show, full of complexity and amazing characters and a crazy plot. But you're already asleep, aren't you? It's like, yeah. Hadoy. Yeah, Inuyasha did have a pretty good one, didn't it? I'm trying to think. Big O had a pretty cool opening, I think. It's a shame that the manga kind of lost momentum and had to end. I think their studio just shut down, honestly, at one point. Like, they got through like the first season of the manga, and then they I think in one of the last issues they had an apology at the end of the last issue, being like, we're so sorry, we want to thank all of our fans, but we unfortunately can't stay open. And it was like, oh, I'm sorry guys, that's too bad. It's like, you really wanted to tell this story. And then Cartoon Network, I don't know if they got in contact with them or if they just made their own story for like a final season. I'd like to think that they at least maybe got a hold of some of the writers, but I can't be sure. But Inuyasha, I think, had some great openings. The only thing with Inuyasha is that I think if I had seen it on any other if like Crunchyroll had existed back then, I would have liked it even better, because unfortunately I saw it through TV, and like the way the American broadcasting system, what they did to Inuyasha was not good. Like, that show just like went all over the place. Like, it was almost as bad as early Dragon Ball Z, with like, you'd be like, oh right, they're about to fight Naraku for the final, this is gonna head up to the final confrontation, isn't it? And then it'd be like, no, we're starting the show over again, and you're like, but I know what happens at the beginning. I've seen it 8 times already. She goes, sit boy, and then he falls and makes a crater. And then it happens again, and then it happens again. And then his emo priestess girlfriend appears, and he has trouble choosing between the two of them. And then it happens again. I just want to see the end. And then they're like, oh, but there's all these movies. And I'm like, I don't have time for these now. Because by then it was too late. It was like, I think I was like in like final year of college by the time those came out. And I'm like, I have no time for this, guys. I can't even sleep right now. It's like, what is sleep? I still haven't checked out those light novels you offered me. Maybe over this Christmas break I'll have some time to read those, or to. I'm sure I still have them in our chat. I think I still have that link, so I'll have to check that out. And I still want to like eventually hunt down those light novels for Bakano, because I really love that anime. It has one of my favorite openings. I don't know if I can't remember. I'll have to send that to you if you haven't checked it out yet. But it's definitely up there on some of my favorites. Yeah. Okay, you did. Okay, yeah. Because I was gonna do that for Soul Eater as well. I was gonna, well, not. I know that's not a light novel. That's a manga, but I would like to eventually look up the manga for that, because it goes much further into the witches. Because there was no like, I think it was kind of like one of the. I mean, I can't even fault them for it, because I think they had the same problem that Full Metal Alchemist had, where they made the anime before the manga was done, so they kind of just like had to make up an adversary, because they hadn't figured out how they were going to write the final adversary in the manga when the show started. Okay, 1 second. I'll just do it now. Because why not? There you go. How are we doing on time? Oh, not bad. We got an hour. So I'll save this and I'll just move on to another one. Here's like a rough concept I had for my, I just wanted to show this because it's kind of cool what I did with the water here, but don't save. It was just another drawing. Let me clean up this one though. I think I could. This one could be pretty popular if I just clean it up a little bit more. Because this was just a I think this was just one of my D&D prompts. Honestly, I think yeah, it was, because I think it was just a one of my first times drawing a. I wanted to draw one of this kind of character, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to. I think this is one of my earliest successful one of these characters. But if you, whenever you get a chance to watch that, the two the duo of the man and the woman criminals, like that's Isaac and Miria, and they are probably some of my favorite anime characters ever. Like those two are just so funny. They just always make me smile. Because they're kind of those like fall into success kind of criminals. Like they shouldn't be as like notorious as they are, because they're not the smartest duo, but they're just somehow like too weird to get caught. Like the things they try and steal sometimes are so obscure that people don't even think that someone would steal them. Like I think I said one time they stole a the front door of a mansion because they just to prove they could. So like I think the FBI's after them, and so is like, and when the story starts, the mob's after them because they stole from the mob, from the mafia, which was like pretty dumb, but. I mean, they got away. They managed to not get caught right away, so I'd say they were pretty. Even that's pretty impressive, considering how like notorious that gang is that they stole from in the story. Like they just dressed up as baseball players. They were like in baseball outfits, and they just clocked the guys when they were like walking into their headquarters with money. Just grabbed it and ran. It's like, whoa, that thing's guts. Like, you should not be alive, but it's hilarious that you did it. Yeah, the underneath this creature's feet I took from Critical Role with the Mighty Nine with the betrayer god Ukatoa. So that's what this is. I might give it kind of like I might even push it further and give it some more like a. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting its name, but there's this eldritch god in Elder Scrolls that is also kind of has like a squid kind of motif to it. I'm trying to think what its name was. It's been a long time since I played it, but put those like octopus eyes in here. Do you love it? But yeah, I've heard this warlock is channeling Ukatoa's power. Yeah, Blue. I know you're kind of just lurking, but I am curious. I think I never did really ask you, like, what it. I think you told me once that you played a character, not this specific class, but this. You played. Are they? What were they called again? You played this bird race. What are they called? Tenkin or Ten? Oh shoot, Tenmu, right? Yeah. Anyway, just curious. I would be curious to hear what that's like, because like it seems like a more fragile. I mean, it always feels like certain things are more fragile than others until you actually play them, I guess. Like I'm sure that I've only seen one person play a cobalt, so I think in my mind they're kind of weak. But if you play them right, I'm sure they're pretty powerful. Thanks. 10. Yes. Okay, that's what it was. I thought they were. But I mean, when you're already a glass cannon anyway, I mean, I guess it really wouldn't matter. Like if you're already playing like a mage or some kind of casting class, you're not the front line anyway, so you could get away with playing that. Like you can't be a barbarian Tengu, but you probably could be like a cleric. Part of me would almost want to try to play an ASMR because I only did that once, and that wasn't a very long campaign, so it would be fun to play that in a campaign that was longer. Like maybe like I was thinking like a hedge knight kind of character who just kind of like runs into the party. Or there's a couple other ideas I had, but I don't know. I'd have to find free time to do that. So it's like it would be nice, but I don't know when I'd have time for it. Of course, the other thing I would almost kind of be curious about playing would be like maybe even a tabaxi. Only because I haven't seen too many people play that. Either a either a tabaxi or anything that's not human, like a tabaxi or a lizard folk was I think what I really wanted to try sometime, because I don't see really anyone doing that, and that could be really fun. Especially to make like a not I wouldn't want to make like I would probably make it like one of those stories where it's on a quest of its own kind of thing, where like it kind of just runs into the heroes. Would be kind of cool for that kind of character. Yeah, they're usually they're usually adversaries for people like that DMs use, but they're not really they're not usually the heroes. But they can be. I mean, they're just a regular class. I mean, a regular race. They could easily be like a turned into a player. I remember one time I almost played in automaton, and this was back in like I think that was back in like third generation. I mean, yeah, third generation or third, yeah, back then, which would have been a little more tricky, but could have been doable maybe. Although it's just really, I mean, it's all about just like finding a good DM, really. So one that doesn't get rid of your character when you're not even there. Because I had that happen. Like, really, guys? Of all the dirty tricks. What's this? Ugh. I don't like that brush. hope we do it on time. Because I want to just give... I'm doing okay. I kind of want to just, like, devote a little bit of time to each one today. Yeah. One anime that I think I unfortunately missed the chance to watch in the theatrical release of its next season is I guess they had one for Solo Leveling that was in some theaters, and I'm a little disappointed that I just didn't have time to check it out. But I mean, I read the entire manhwa, so I already know everything that happens. Yeah, it's good. It's a good series. So I'm excited to see when more of it comes out. Yeah, it's really good. I definitely, if you haven't seen the first season, I'd say watch it, because there's so many scenes like that. So many of those fights are just like top tier, like anime. I mean, they look really good. The animation's very clean. It's very fun. So I definitely recommend giving it a shot. And the next season's only going to get more exciting with like what he faces next, because they already kind of foreshadowed what he was going to deal with at the end of last season. So it's really exciting to see. Where it's going to go from there. And just the way that like explained the story, like the way they did the story was just really good too, with like how he's not all, I mean, he's both not all powerful and he is at the same time. Like, I think he's one of those, like, so when they wrote his character, the person clearly did some work on like trying to figure out how to write a character that has like a power creep throughout the whole series. Like, he's just, and like, what does that mean in a world where you're the only one that can do that? And what does that mean when, like, there's people so much stronger than you that, like, even with it, you're still in danger? So, I just found a brush I wanted to use for this, so going back to this temporarily. That's not right. I'm trying to think what I'm going to do for this. Maybe... Because it's a lightning sword. So I'm trying to think how I'm going to... I kind of want to make the explosion kind of a lightning... explosion behind her. Maybe something like that. Or it's just like this intense light electrical blast behind her. I like that shape, but I want to make it a little cleaner because I want it to look like tendrils coming out of this dimension. Yeah, it's funny. I think like one anime that I'm kind of glad I have the spoilers for is My Hero Academia, because I think I would have been more disappointed with where it was heading if I didn't know where it ends. Like it's one of those ones where like if you think it's just a regular shonen, you might be disappointed with how it ends. Is all I'll say. Because it. So I think like where it's going is going to be much different than what some people might think. Kind of like how one of my friends is into that stuff, and he was disappointed in he was disappointed in Last Airbender when what happens with Azula. He thought it was a little bit disappointing how they dealt with her at the end, and I'm like, well, I mean that's where she was heading, so there's nothing else they could have done with that. Like that's where her character was going, and if you looked at the signs, they were there. Like, I don't want to spoil it, but they're in case there actually is someone who hasn't seen that. But yeah, her arc is like you can see it happening throughout, like even from the beginning. There's like warning signs about where she's heading. So that's all I'll say. and I've almost watched all of Korra again. I'm on the final season, and I still think, yeah, people are a little hard on that show. I mean, to be fair, it's like the way it was aired was just setting it up to fail. Like you can't have the final season. Thanks. But yeah, the way they ended it was just like really, where they were like, oh, we're suddenly going to be concerned about like the fact that we're on Nickelodeon and this is dealing with like really deep political issues and like trauma and PTSD, and it's like, guys, this show was almost always for teens and young adult and like in preteens, but mostly teens. Like even Airbender, like Katara's a teenager, so it's like like sure Aang's not, but I mean technically he's over 100 years old, so he's got that like lost time that to deal with, but like the things that are being thrown at them are not for the things that kids should have to would normally deal with. So like the eradication of your culture. It's like, I hope that's not a common event. But I think the interesting thing that Korra dealt with is like, what do you do when you're the first of like a line of protectors that is being outpaced by society? Like, what happens when they can create inventions that can do what you can do but better and faster? It's like you become like, you quickly just become less and less relevant, to the point where like there's several points in it where like, I mean, in the final season where they're like, oh wait, we still have an avatar? I didn't think we needed one of those anymore. And it's like, yeah, because they don't, kind of. I mean, they do and they don't. But I'm slowly going through all the I recently started watching the One Piece movies. They're pretty good. Like I saw I think, did we talk about this last week? I can't remember. But I watched yeah, I think I was talking about which one I was going to watch, but I don't think I said anything other than that. I watched Z. It was good. I don't get why people say it's the best. I don't think it's the best, and I've only seen one. It can't be the best. I mean, if people like it a lot, that's fine. But like, wait, do you think Z is the best? Because I don't know. I mean, I'm actually kind of asking more than saying anything, because I can't say for sure because I've only seen that movie. Like, for all I know, there's a couple other ones that are that look really good. I mean, Red. I hear Red is really good. Like, everyone tells me Red's actually the best, but I'm not sure. Because I think it really depends on what kind of character story you want. Like, Red's more of a like story that happened later, so they could do more with the characters. Because it was like right during right near the end of oh gosh, what's the name of that arc where they're in the island with the samurai? I forget the name of that arc. But anyway, they're yeah, totally. It's like with Dragon Ball Z. Like, certain people have preferences on those movies. And it really depends on where they were in the story when they saw it. One that I've never seen, but I kind of am very tempted to, is there's this Digimon movie that I'm not even really a huge fan of Digimon, but the animator that did it was the same person that did Summer Wars, and I love Summer Wars. That movie is gorgeous and has a really nice story and really fun characters, and it's just like such a great story about like family. Like, it'd be fun to have like a maybe over this break I'll also try and get my Discord up and running so I can start like offering to show some of this stuff. If I can, I don't know. I'll have to look into see how easy that is to do with certain. I know certain things are harder than others to show, but it would be fun to share some of them. Or because like there's so many of those like certain ones I would want to like let people see on their own if they want to. Like oh gosh, what was the name of that one? I mean, Your Name is really good, but and that's probably one I would want people to see if they want to see, because I don't want to. Same with oh, the one that I wouldn't want to put on someone if they weren't ready is A Silent Voice, because if you're in a bad place when you watch that, it's only gonna get worse. It's so dark. And it really will tear at your heartstrings. It's like I was just bawling by the end of it. But I guess some people, it depends. If you've gone through that or you know someone who has, it'll affect you more than if you don't. So. I remember I spoke with someone who said that they weren't affected as much by it, but they're younger, and they were like, "Is it? Does it? Is it?" They were kind of pointing out, like, "Am I really? Is that a bad sign for me?" And I'm like, "If you haven't had that experience yet with your emotions, then no. It just means that you haven't reached that point where you would feel those. So don't feel too bad," because they were like, "Oh my gosh, am I a monster?" I'm like, "No, you just haven't felt those emotions yet. Don't worry about it. Be happy." I think like doing a Ghibli fest though would be really fun sometime. If I could do that, that would be so much fun. Like show my, especially like showing, starting with my favorites, like going like, how would I, like Howl's Moving Castle to Spirited Away to Castle in the Sky, and then going down the list from there. I think because with Ghibli, I think it's really about what you like. What are you looking for? Because I don't think any of them are bad. I just think some of them might be better for certain people than others. Like, I didn't care for Ponyo that much, but I'm sure there's people out there where that's their favorite one. And I won't deny them their favorite one. I won't say, I'll be like, how could you like that one? It's like, well, when I saw it, I was older, so maybe they saw it when they were younger, and it spoke to them more. Kind of like how I saw Princess Mononoke was one of my first ones I saw, and I saw the previews for that on, again, aging myself, the Sci-Fi Channel, back when it was spelled sci-fi. So, back in those days, nickels had pictures of bumblebees on them. Give me 20 bees for $1, you'd say. But no, here's my Simpsons quote for the stream. But yeah, like everyone's got their favorites because it was at a certain point in their life, or it was like it just resonated with them when they were watching it. So yeah, I would never tell them they're wrong. Like, I saw Princess Mononoke in theaters. I saw that in theaters. I saw Howl's Moving Castle. I saw that in theater. In a theater. Like we had this one theater that like did like because back then it was harder to get to see. Like now it seems like a lot of theaters are a lot of animated series and such, and like motion pictures in Japan and other places are realizing that like they can make a lot of money if they just like do a limited release in America. Like I was saying with that Solo Leveling thing, or like Demon Slayer did it. What else? There's been a couple of like newer shonen that, like, well, My Hero Academia. They had several of their movies have been released in theaters. Did I see both of them, or did I see? No, I only saw the third one. I saw the third one in theaters. It was good, not great, but good. It was fun. I mean, I thought the villain was interesting anyway. But anyway, point being, I saw that in theaters and it was really fun. So it had that. That's why it's more sentimental to me. Or like how I saw Record of Lotus War. I saw that when it was first like. I saw a lot of that like on Sci-Fi Channel on Saturday mornings, and that was like my earliest exposure to like that level of fantasy. Like that was, I'd almost say that's close to being like one of the earliest versions of like anime trying to be D&D that I saw. Like I'm sure there's things influenced earlier than that, but that's the first one I saw, and mean, it's good. I mean, it's no dungeon. It's no dungeon meshy, but for its time, it was good. I want to kind of make like this tear in reality look even more like the edges of it look more frayed, kind of like a torn fabric almost. But it is good to see more like anime getting like these even temporary releases now because of these bigger movies that bigger motion pictures like studios in Japan and elsewhere that are like giving more notoriety and just making them look like they'll make more money than in the past. What people would have thought. And that goes for like just lower budget animation in general. Like there was this one movie called Animal Crackers that lost its funding and then was refunded, I think, by a different studio. Or and I finally, I mean, I watched it when it came out and I thought it was good. I thought it was a fun short movie, like just like a family that's like wants to be they're proud of their like circus background and they want to keep the circus going, but it's hitting hard times and it's fun. I definitely recommend checking it out if you haven't seen it. Not sure what to do to click. I think I'll figure this one. There's so much going on this one. I'll have to think hard about that one. Yeah, no, it was good. That was a good one. I definitely recommend checking it out. Be right back. Let's get some water. But yeah, another movie series that another motion picture director that I definitely recommend is Satoshi Kon. Like, his movies are dark, can get dark sometimes. Like Perfect Blue is like a really dark deep dive into like what fame can do to you, and it's really interesting like how it affects the main character. And definitely check this, make sure that it's a movie you feel okay watching. But it is interesting though. But then there's other ones that are less dark, like Millennium Actress is really a really good movie about like someone like reliving their fame. It's a less dark version of it where it's just them reliving their fame later in life, and it's just a kind of a sweet tale. It's a send off to a kind of to a character, and I don't know. I don't want to give away too much, but it's sad, but it's sweet. And one that I haven't seen yet that I keep hearing like I'll have to check more reviews, but I've heard pretty good reviews for Tokyo Godfathers, and I've never seen it, and I keep hearing mostly good things about that. So maybe I'll check it out sometime soon. Paprika is still one of my favorites. I think for multiple reasons. One of the cool things that I saw because I saw the making of that one, and it was so interesting seeing the author of the material that they were basing the movie off of, like come to the like I can't remember if it was the premiere or if I think it was like the first airing, like in studio airing, kind of like they were just checking to make sure everything was good, and they invited him to come, and it was just so interesting, like especially back then. I mean, it's a little more common now for certain directors to be more reverent of like the material that they're trying to use, but seeing them be like so serious about like they wanted to make sure that like they got it right. It is really good, yeah. But like I definitely recommend checking it out sometime if you get a chance. It it's dark at parts, but it's also like it goes all over the place. There's some parts that are funny. There's some parts that are dark. It's really interesting, very cerebral. I mean, it kind of deals with the pros and cons of like people sharing a dream and what that could entail. Like it shows like the positives of like how you could use it for like therapy, like just delving into someone's consciousness and to find out how to help them. But it also shows like what happens when what happens when you link the minds of delusional people that are dangerous with regular people, and how much damage that does to them. And it's like, oh no. But like all the characters are really cool. There's a really good story, and don't know. It's worth checking out. I definitely recommend that one. If you're looking for something to watch. It's I think it's on a couple. I can't remember where it might be. I don't know where you'd find it. No. Let me check something. I'm gonna see if it's on. It might be on Amazon. I'm not sure if it's on Amazon or if it's on. Because I have the Blu-ray from back when that was. Oh my gosh, my brain. I think I'm getting tired. I just typed in paprika into Amazon. What's wrong with me? It's like, yeah, you're gonna find an ingredient there, buddy. I think you're just gonna buy some. It thought I was buying groceries. Oh boy. It's really cheap to rent from here. It's like $4 on here, but it used to be. Maybe not. Maybe it's one of those ones where you. What? Tokyo Godfathers is just on Prime, but not Paprika? That's not fair. But I mean, it works for me because I haven't seen Tokyo Godfathers, but. Yeah. What's Dream Fossil? What's this? Dream Fossil. The Complete Stories of Satoshi Kon. Oh, it's a paperback. Okay. Interesting. Sorry, I'm just going to check this out really quick just to tell you what it's about and if it's good. Oh, it's a bunch of short stories. I might have to check this out. I might be tempted to get this eventually because it's I mean, it's only $20 to begin with, and I probably could find it for cheaper than that if I just get digital or something. So, I'll never rest. I'll never sleep again. I want to make a little more progress, but I'll sleep. I'll stop soon. I just want to make a little more progress on this guy, and then I'll call it. But there's a couple of animated motion pictures that I still haven't seen that I do want to check out. That came out, I think, earlier this year. I am kind of curious to see with how successful Critical Role's been with that with their shows on Netflix and with on Amazon. If it'd be really cool if other D&D groups get their stuff published if they want. You know, that'd be kind of a cool way for like groups that are already like trying to like raise money through like merchandising and stuff to make some extra money. Like Brendan Lee Mulligan he's got a couple of really cool campaigns that would be really fun to see animated. I know some of them might have some like issues because like that one that he was involved in that was kind of like a Harry Potter knockoff. That one might have some difficulty being made into a streaming show, but the other ones should be not that hard. Like there's that one where I forget what it was called, but they're like in this like Candyland kind of world. I forgot that French. There's so many seasons of Dimension 20 now that I don't remember what season that was even. But yeah, there's so many groups that where it would be fun to like just see those stories told, and it would be more fun to. And for those people who don't like animation, which why are you on my channel? No, I'm just kidding. Who let you in here? No, I'm just kidding. I am. That could make me laugh. But I think it would be really fun to see more live action D&D stories as well. I just laughed because I had a flash of like that scene from that Simpsons like where they did the parody of Matt Groening, but he was like the angry Texan guy, and he's like, "Get out of my office!" I swear I'm almost done. But yeah, it would be fun to see that. I think that's one of the things I'll watch over the breaks is I never did actually watch the entire live action D&D, but I heard it was good. Like everyone I talked to said I should sit down and like finish it off because it was better than better than I thought it would be. Because when I started to watch it, I was like, oh no, this is kind of goofy, but it's goofy in a good way, I hear, actually. So as long as that, and I think I kind of latched too much onto the negative reviews, and I shouldn't have done that because that's never a good way to judge the quality of something. So dude, come on. Really? Again? Please don't make me have to mod these. That's your last warning. Please don't bring that up again. I know you are. And if that happens again, I might take you up. But I feel it's only fair that since last time I was a little more vague to give you this person one last warning. So, 'cause I'm nothing but if not fair. I mean, you knew what you were doing when you came here, so please show some courtesy. I wouldn't come on your channel and start talking about nonsense. So, don't do it. Don't do it here. Plus, they're probably already gone anyway. They just wanted to say that and leave, so. We can't leave on that note. So, what was something else I want to talk about? Maybe like, oh, right, before we leave, I was going to talk a little bit about the, oops, sorry, one second. I wanted to talk a little bit about, some of the cool things I had planned for the model before this is over with. And it'd be fun to just like go through these one more time just to show what some of the things I did this year. Yeah, that one's doesn't count. Making some progress on that one. I'll probably work on that a little bit after stream. Working on my comic. This is a page that is still in the works, but it's slowly coming along. I cleaned up this panel a bit. Like, I didn't like the size. Her size looked off, so I fixed it. So, but here's my model, and I'm working on a VTuber model, and this is going to be like the basis for it. I'm gonna add in some cool effects, like the electricity is gonna on his arm is gonna move around. The spirits, I mean, or wisps, if you want to, will there'll be like different. There'll be a few floating around him, different colors, to represent the chat, and there'll be the wings will flap. I might make that like a specific prompt that might make it do that, like a trigger. Same with the tail, where like I'll make a trigger for like normally it'll just move like slightly, but I'll have one where it wags kind of. And maybe I'll even make down the line a later one where like as I get better at it, like I was thinking making the wings so that they kind of like fade in and out a little bit. And what were some of the other things? I think that's pretty much the big things about it. Like oh, and I'm gonna be working on the interface, like the background behind him. I'll have that worked out, and I'll try and come up with what was it? I was gonna make like a tree behind him that's starting to get terraformed into like being like a fey tree, and I was gonna make like some also the animation for like this. Like this is gonna be like an opening that will be animated, like very slightly, nothing crazy. Like the spirits will be like slightly moving, and maybe his little dino will be moving a little bit, and stuff like that. Oh, cool. Yeah. Just realized I got another subscriber recently. I just saw that. That's cool. Nice. One second. Just want to see if I can do one thing while I'm here, just before I quit for the night. But work on this while I'm doing that. Because I don't know if I'm going to do something with that one. That one's a bit much, but this one I might do something with because it's pretty cool. And this one's coming along really nice. I'm glad I cleaned up the clouds today, and I'm glad that makes it look way better, I think. So okay. Sorry, I just okay. Well, so that's pretty much everything that's going to be done for the first, at least the first half of next year, like the end of this month, and going into next year, probably like throughout the going through spring probably. So yeah, it's really exciting stuff coming up for the channel, and like there's the comics coming along really nice. I made some more progress, and I'll share more of that on Friday. So yeah, things are looking really good, and so yeah, thanks to everyone who stuck around. There's quite a few of you, so thanks so much. And I'll see you all on Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and spread the word if you can. That would be great. And if you ever have like thoughts on like cool like folklore, like especially I'm doing this month, I'm doing superheroes based around like personifications of winter. If you have any like cool like ideals for that, please feel free to comment about that kind of stuff. I'm always excited to try and like explore other like different cultures and like how like the representations of like winter would. It would be cool if you had like a really like a unique ideal of one that maybe is a little harder to get a hold of the information. So yeah, just a thought. Well, everyone have a great night, and again, thanks for watching. I'm very grateful for the time that any time you've spent listening to me babble on about anime and music and Disney and whatnot, and losing my mind. So, have a great night.